What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you guys with a quick video. Today we're going to talk about Isaiah Thomas and the Los Angeles Lakers. He has had a better season than he had in Cleveland, playing damn near the same games. He played 15 games with Cleveland. He played 13 games with the Lakers. He even said, I'm starting to feel like the old Isaiah Thomas a couple weeks ago. He gave a couple 20-point games already. He's not shooting as efficient. He was shooting 36% from the field in Cleveland, struggling at 25% from three. Had difficulties creating his own shot, difficulties getting his shot consistently. And, when you have a hip injury as bad as his, it's hard to shoot and get that lift when you have a injury that stops you from jumping without being in pain and kind of hurts your movement. But I feel like he's starting to show that he can still score at this level. He can still be an energy bunny off that bench, come in, score a bunch of points, keep people involved to the best of his ability, and distribute that basketball. Because even though he has been, scoring a lot of scoring a lot, he has been getting assists and trying to keep his teammates involved, because the Lakers, like I said, for years, they have talent. You have Ball, you have Ingram, you have Kuzma, you have even Brook Lopez, you have Caldwell Pope. You have shooters on this team. They're not the best knockdown shooters, but they have improved as the season has went on, and so has Isaiah Thomas, especially compared to him being in Cleveland. It's still not where he wants to be at. He's still not at a good elite level or even league average, but he's getting closer to that. And you have to give him credit, not giving up. Because remember, he only played 15 games with Cleveland. Two of the games, he didn't even play that many minutes. And for him to go from trying to fight back and try to help this team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, make it to the playoffs and make a push in the playoffs, they get rid of him in 15 games. And now, you think about what if they would have kept him? What if they would have tried it a little longer? What if they would have seen if Isaiah Thomas can get healthy? Because they had, 2 more months before the playoff had started before he got traded. But instead, they got rid of him quick because they got George Hill, they got Hood, they got Clarkson, they got Nance. They got youth, they have athleticism, they got scorers like Hood and Jordan Clarkson, and they got guys with the potential like Hood and Nance that can become bigger and better than what they really are if they have the right development team and they get pushed a lot and they hungry. These players can be, two-way type of players, and they can give you some versatility, because Hood can play the 2-3 or the 4 because he has the side, the quickness, and the length. Same with Nance. The only problem with Nance, he's not as good as a shooter, so they can, sag off of whoever's playing with the ball and sag off Nance because he can't shoot threes right now. So we don't know what's going to happen. They do have a lot of potential. They do look good, but also giving up on Isaiah Thomas, he's starting to prove that he can get back to that form he was in a couple seasons ago. Can he get back to the 28 points a game Celtics? I don't think so, because they basically needed him to score every point. Not every point, but they relied a lot on his scoring. They really rolled him as an isolation scorer and a guy that can come off screens or get some open looks. He can knock it down. You got to give a lot of credit to Brad Stevens for inventing a system that works for his players' strengths and weaknesses, but he keeps them in areas where they're very strong at, and it makes them look better than what they really are. Isaiah Thomas already averaged 20 points a game in the NBA before. This ain't like he just the first season he done did it, but he done did it even in bad teams, and he did it on a playoff team, which was, the Boston Celtics. And he averaged 20 points in Sacramento too, barely, but it is 20 points. But, giving up on Isaiah, he's still a defensive liability. He has trouble guarding people in general, even at his own position. But the fact that even if they switch, they can just keep going at Isaiah Thomas every possession until he's on the bench. Brad Stevens was able to win with him, because they did win their first two playoff rounds last year and got to the Eastern Conference Finals, and he didn't even play, that series against the Cavaliers. But that's the crazy part about it is that he didn't play. We don't know if they would have won 1 or 2 games. They won 1 game without him, but we don't know how many they would have won with him because he did show that he is a little unguardable. He can get a shot anytime he wants to. That's something that Cleveland needs right now, other than LeBron. And Isaiah Thomas fits that bill, but Cleveland is already a bad defensive team as is. They don't need nobody that's gonna make them even worse. And that's what Isaiah Thomas did. Plus, he couldn't knock down a three at that time. And on top of that, he couldn't score half as good as he did in Boston. And to say we can get George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, Rodney Hood, and Nance. Let's go out here and blow everything up and get it done. Because at the end of the day, we still have a chance to compete for a championship because we have LeBron James. And everybody's starting to doubt LeBron James. I don't think they're going to the finals. I think it's going to be the Celtics. I think it's going to be the Raptors. I even will pick the Wizards. And I'm looking like, wow, this Cleveland team still ain't that bad. And they don't have Kevin Love, and they still out there competing and winning games and having a chance to win in certain games. Ain't like they out here getting embarrassed and blowed out like they was when they had Isaiah Thomas and Dwayne Wade. They was getting annihilated on TV. Like they had to switch it up. They had to change it up. So I don't really necessarily think they regret trading Isaiah Thomas because at the end of the day, worst case scenario, you have Nance, you have Clarkson, you have Hood, and you have George Hill, people that fit LeBron better than, the other players like Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade and Isaiah Thomas because George Hill is long and lanky and he can shoot that spot up three, even though he still has been a little streaky, just like Isaiah Thomas. He's still a preferred player because you have that length, that size, and that height that he's never going to be a defensive liability that like Isaiah Thomas is. Plus, they have J.R. Smith still. They still have Rodney Hood. They still have Jeff Green, so they can guard a team like the Warriors and switch and have long size and length on that roster. And that's something that they was able to get even more with Clarkson, Nance, and Hood. But at the same time, you have to think about it. Having a dynamic scorer like Isaiah Thomas, you do want to see if it's going to work out. You traded for an all-star caliber player, but the big picture is, they have youth, they have size, they have athleticism, and they have the Brooklyn pick. So they technically didn't really lose Kyrie Irving trade until we see what happens with that Brooklyn's pick. Is they going to trade it? Is they going to keep it? Who they going to draft? Is they going to develop into a star? Is they going to develop into a superstar? These are things that we do not know because we don't know where the pick gonna fall and which player they're gonna get with that pick. So that's the big picture from this trade. Can that Brooklyn pick turn into a superstar? Can it lead to them getting a superstar to go LeBron? And until we find that out, we can't really judge the trade, who won and who lost. Right now, it looks like the Lakers are happy because Isaiah Thomas is helping them win. He's out there getting better. He's out there improving. Plus, he's on a cheap contract and his salary expires, which gives them still enough room to get 2 max players. Even if Isaiah chooses to stay or leave, he's exciting the crowd. They're winning games. They're doing better than they was, a couple months ago. And even though it hurts they don't have a pick anyway, not that I realize that. So they don't really have nothing to lose. Plus, he's exciting the crowd, and he's getting back to old form. So it works for him, and it works for the Cavs because now they have a team better fit for the Warriors. It works for the Lakers because they're winning games and selling tickets, and it worked for Isaiah Thomas because he's getting back in shape. He's showing that he still can score. He's showing that he still can play, and that helps him going into free agency. People knowing that he's getting back to his old form. And that's what we wanted to see in Cleveland, but we starting to see it in LA. So it works out for everybody right now. But in the future, we really won't know until, the trade gets 2 to 3 to 4 years deeper. And if these players get traded or they get traded for picks or the Brooklyn pick turns out to be Michael Porter, Ayton, Bagley, and they all turn into stars or superstars anyway, then we can go back and judge this Kyrie trade because he's having a blast in Boston. He won because they on pace to win 50 games plus. He led a team to the playoffs and without LeBron, and he has been just as efficient without LeBron in Boston. So even Kyrie won this trade because he made it to the playoffs and he led a team without Gordon Hayward, his second best player, and he's still efficient, just like he was in Cleveland. So he won too. So let me know who you think won this the Los Angeles trade so far. Do you think it was the Lakers? Do you think it was Isaiah Thomas? Do you think it was Kyrie? Do you think it was Cleveland because of the pick? Or do you think everybody looks like they benefited a little bit, not real, but a little bit from this trade, including the players? Let me know. At the end of the day, that's all I got to say. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, signing out. Check out my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. And check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description and in the comment section below. Click the link and send you to my website. Click the link and send you to my Facebook page. And I'm gone.